what is flagpoling?
So flagpoling is basically, it's good to record those times that you flagpoling because you're technically leaving Canada. Why would somebody be afraid? Because of the stories that you have heard. People going
Horror
to the
stories.
border, horror stories. When you are at the border, every and any question can be asked. I know of an immigration lawyer that tells you no every single time because he was an immigration officer some
As
years
in,
ago.
don't flagpole, apply online.
Apply online. So the benefit is, and if anything should happen, you don't say that I said, or somebody encouraged you to flagpole.
And you send them.
It wasn't me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shavon and today I am here to share some more information with you about, Canada, the Canadian journey. So, after completing your studies, as an international student, you need to apply for PGWP or Postgraduate Work Permit if you want to maintain your status in Canada. So at this point, you might start to ask yourself the question, how do I go about doing that? There are different ways that you can apply for PGWP. You can apply online. Yes. I think you can do a paper application and you can also do what is called flagpoling. So we have Nicola here with us on the channel again to tell us a little bit more about her experience when she did flagpoling. Nicola, thanks for being back. Good to see you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so first question, what is flagpoling?
Right, so flagpoling is basically going to the US-Canadian border to submit an application, an immigration application. So in essence, it's going through a border. So if you're in Canada, obviously,
Okay.
and you go to the US for a brief time, there are persons that might, if they have a US visa, they might go over into the US for a few hours and then come back into Canada. So you're going through the border and returning to Canada almost immediately to do an application.
Okay.
So different borders are set up in different ways, as you can imagine. There are some that you can just walk around a building. Others you have to drive through the border. And the persons can do flagpole as a pedestrian. So you don't have to go there in your personal vehicle. I don't believe you can do it when you're, say, use a taxi service.
Okay.
If you don't have a vehicle and you go to the border to flagpole, you get a taxi or you take the bus and then they leave you, you do the flagpoling and you get another vehicle to go back home.
Do you need to have a US visa since you're crossing the border? Do you need to have a US visa to go across and come back?
No. So technically, you won't be going into the US when you don't have a visa, right? So they're denying you entry, but it's an administrative denial as far as I understand. So it won't affect your immigration.
That's interesting.
Processes in the future with the US or with Canada, but it's good to record those times that you flagpoling because you're technically leaving Canada and re-entering. So make notes of those dates when you flagpole. So if you're applying again for whatever immigration service, then you'll have that details for the future.
That's interesting. Do you need an appointment to flagpole or you can just
No. So when you're flagpoling, you just go at any time that you choose. There are some borders that do certain services at particular times or particular days. In those instances, you have to do your checks online or call the Canada Border Service Agency and just find out whichever border you're interested in going to, if they're open at that time. Not everyone does certain services 24 hours. So you have to know what times, if there are restrictions, and the day, if they have a day restriction that, say for example on Mondays they don't do certain applications or process certain applications. So otherwise you just go and do the service. If they have too many people at the border though, because technically it's not an illegal process
Right.
flagpoling. It's not illegal.
Okay.
It's totally legal for people to do. However, they can't process too many applications like that because that's not their primary purpose
Oh
for
yeah,
being
it's not the
there.
core.
It's not the
Okay.
core purpose, but it's a service they offer.
Mm-hmm.
And if they go and you have too many people at the same time, they might give you an appointment to come back.
Okay. So I've had conversations with recent or new graduates, right? And some of them seem to be very afraid of doing the flagpoling process. Do you know why this is, or why would somebody choose to do flagpoling as opposed to doing the online application or the paper application?
All right. So why would somebody be afraid? Because of the stories that you have heard. People going
Horror
to the
stories.
border. Horror stories. They are real. They are real. Because
Okay.
you're being scrutinized. You apply online, which is the preferred and recommended way. The officer processing your application just sees what is on your application. If they have any questions, and I'm not sure of many people that they question, but if they have any questions, they ask for an additional document. When you are at the border, every and any question can be asked. So that extra additional scrutiny is there, and persons will give you advice not to go to the border because you can hear, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not letting you in. I can't." So
What do
you're
you do
detained.
then? What do you do if you get denied at the border?
Well, I believe there are several denials. One denial could be they are not able to process your application for whatever reason. You
okay.
might not have a required document. They may give you an appointment to come back. Another denial is if you're out of status or something. Maybe you committed a crime and they have a reason not to let you back into Canada. Then
I see.
they can put you
Yeah.
on a plane and send
That's
you back
interesting.
to your home country. So
Okay.
that's the fear. And I know of an immigration lawyer that tells you no every single time because he was an immigration officer some
as
years
in
ago.
don't flagpole, apply
flagpole.
online.
Apply online.
Or the paper application.
Yeah.
You can do a paper application, right?
You can do a paper application, but the majority of persons will apply online. And why would you flagpole as opposed to applying online?
Right,
Because flagpoling, you get that
Immediately.
permit immediately. Well, not immediately. It takes time to process, but same day. As opposed to applying online right now because of the backlogs that IRCC is the issues with that. It takes months for your post-graduation work permit application to be processed. But there is a benefit to applying online now.
What is that?
So the benefit is the additional time that you get to work in Canada.
Okay.
So it takes 4 months or 3 months right now. I'm not sure of the exact time, but the last time I heard persons have been waiting, or some people have been waiting for 3-4 months. After submitting the application, they haven't heard back. So that time that you submit your application and you get that confirmation to say we received your application, you can go ahead and work as long as you met certain requirements. I believe if your study permit was still valid, you can go ahead and work until you hear back from IRCC. Well, the good thing is that when you get that approval, it's at the date that it is approved that your study permit it's valid from that date and not the date that you submitted your application. So
that's
you get
interesting.
bonus time there.
That's interesting. So if you apply for the postgraduate work permit in September and they don't give you an approval until December, your permit date, the start date on that permit is going to be December until 3 years out,
3 years
or 1 year, depending on how long you
the
study.
length of your program, right?
Yeah. Yes, because if you study a 1 year program, then you get a 1 year PGWP, And if you did a 2-year program, then it's a 3-year
3 years
PGWP.
PGWP.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So what documents do you need to take to the border for them to process your application?
If you're a single applicant, you just need your study permit. You need your letter of completion from your school, your official transcript, not the one that you get from the school's website. So the official transcript in the sealed envelope.
It has to be sealed. Cannot be open.
Well, inconsistencies, I would say. People have gone to the border as minority, I would put it as, have gone with unofficial transcript and they were approved. But if you go on IRCC's website, you will see official transcript. But like, say for example, you're applying online, you can use your unofficial transcript at that point. But if you're going to the border, it's recommended that it's the official transcript that you use. So you don't need to show any pay stubs to say you have a job offer or whatever it is, or you're working. So transcript, letter of completion, study permit, your passport, and that's it. If you want them to remove that condition to say you can't work in healthcare or with children, then you would get a medical done by a panel physician, and you take that medical document with you that the physician will give you, and that's it. Those are the major documents. I'm not.
And you did mention that it's a 1-day process, so you'll get the PGWP right there
Same
and then. So that's the real incentive, I guess, for flagpoling.
Yes.
Is there any other application that you can do there, or any other services that are offered? So if you have kids, can you take them for like visa extension, or if you have a partner, visa extension, or extension on their work permit?
Most definitely, you can get those extensions if you have family. So if your spouse came with you and they had a open work permit, they can get that extended. However, there are additional documents that would be required at those times. So spouse, you need to show that your marriage certificate in a common law relationship. What is the document? I don't know.
Oh yeah, the common law declaration.
Right. So you need that, whatever document that proves your relationship to the person as your spouse, your husband, your wife, or your partner. And if you have a child, you need the birth certificate for the child to prove your relationship. In the case where you're extending,
to prove it's your child. In the case you're extending.
In the case you're extending your spouse's work permit. Well, there are certain temporary measures that you might not have to show that you're employed or you have a job offer in a skilled job. But under normal circumstances, you have to show that you have a job offer or you're working in a skilled occupation.
Will they have to show any funds if you're okay?
No proof of funds required.
No proof of funds
for the PGWP application as well as the work permit for the spouse or the child. The only thing is that the pay stubs and the last 3 pay stubs as well is required under regular circumstances to show the skill job and that you're getting an income.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you did flagpoling. Other people out there watching want to know if they should do flagpoling or should they apply online. What is your recommendation? What would you say to somebody who is going to come up and say, "Oh, Nicola, should I flagpole or should I apply online?" What would you say to them?
Naturally, my first response would be apply online. That's my first response. I would say, but if you are confident and if anything should happen, you don't say that I said or somebody encouraged you to flagpole.
And you send them.
It wasn't me. The fact is that anything can happen. As I said, you're scrutinized more when you go to flagpole. Something might be off. The officer might be off, having a bad day, or they suspect something.
Okay.
Anything can happen. So in that regard, to be on the safe side, I would say apply online. But if you know that all is well, you have everything in order, all your documents in order, there's nothing that you did that could cause any concerns, go ahead and do the flagpoling. If you're driving your vehicle, make sure there's nothing in your vehicle that will cause them to arrest you.
And I am certain you have to make sure your vehicle is up to par as well.
Up to par.
License, insurance, registration, all these
They're
things.
checking everything. When we parked, they tell you to get out of your vehicle. After you go to the US officer, they ask what's your purpose. You tell them. They check your passport. They check your permit. They direct you back to Canada. No, sorry. They direct you to the office, the US office. When you go to that office, you have to speak to a US officer that does an interview, because it's an interview that they're doing. And then they issue you a document that you will give to the Canadian officer when you go back to cross over back into Canada. When you drive, they will direct you to park your vehicle. You're coming back into Canada, or you're coming into the US, so they want to know if you have anything illegal, if everything is okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they tell you, don't roll up your windows, leave your keys. They're searching. They are looking through everything in the car. They might scan it. I've watched Canada Border Service Agency. What do you call that thing? The TV show. Where the name is slipping my mind now, but there is a TV show that shows you US border, Canadian border. So in those movies or episodes, you will see when they do the scans, if there's anything that comes up, they will detect if you have radiation, detect for radiation, because it can come as a terrorist. Right?
Yeah.
So they're scanning for everything. They're checking for drugs.
Which is
they're
right.
checking for weapons. So if you have a knife, take it out. If you have a gun and you don't have a license, if you have... They can arrest you.
Gotcha. Here you're loud and clear. You have a YouTube channel, right? Let the people know how to find you, where to find you.
Well, so...
And go and like and subscribe to your channel and all.
Yes, please like, share, and subscribe for more information. My channel is called Through Nikki's Lens. I have several videos that I talk about my Canadian experiences so far, even the flagpoling and PGWP application process, and just general experiences living in Canada, cost of living, and so forth. I am on TikTok. I'm on Instagram at Through Nikki's Lens, so you can find me there.
Okay, awesome. All right, thanks, Nicola. That's it. A quick video, but thanks for sharing these very important details, because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people sometimes be like, yo, should I flagpole or should I not? It's usually one of those situations where people are like really unsure of what to do or whether or not they should go ahead and do this. So thanks for coming through and sharing your experience and clarifying certain things. And yeah, we hope to have you soon again. People love you on the channel, so yeah. Thank you. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon.